All right. So in our group, we have reached a stage where I am about to neck myself because I have not had anything new to play. And we calculated over the next couple of days that I would be playing, what am I playing? Snowflake, right? And we'll be playing it for a couple more weeks, which will put me at roughly about 22 scenarios, which is not apparently the record. I did put that out there, and someone else has been playing their Snowflake for 30 scenarios, and they're still not sure where the end is. So we're not that guy, which is all right. But we have decided that I'm going to roll a new character to at least begin some progression on that character. And I was aiming for the fists, but timings got all weird, and a certain listener contacted me, or I was discussing with, and they were just like, mate, I can see you also playing the shackles. There's no issue there. So really it's one person versus another person, and the other person's dwarf. So like, you know, it's like, what does he know, right?
Really, yeah. Outside of FAQs, doesn't really add much.
No. So we've decided we're going to do a giant big raw unboxing with seal that's still on there of the shackle character. And I'm going to open this now. And
if anyone's not following along, like if you're new to our content and whatnot, we don't know anything about any of these classes. So we play without any spoilers. We don't look up what they do. We don't even know the names of the classes. We just know that they're called shackles because that's what the Discord and community call them. So we're going in completely raw.
Correct.
Right?
We literally only know this. That's what we know, and how we unlocked it. That kind of thing. I gotta say, this mini is sick.
Oh, is it?
It's sick. I don't know how well you can see that.
Oh yeah, hang on, it's blurry. This is terrible footage. No, don't go closer. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh wow, hold it there for a sec. Whoa, that looks wicked. All right, well if you don't want to paint that, I'm definitely keen on painting it.
So I'm just gonna show it up to my other camera. So we're looking like this. No, you don't want that. That looks actually sick. He actually looks like, I'm trying to picture the race. An Aether. It's not an Inox.
It's not a quattro?
No, it's too short. Long. Like not short.
Not short, but long.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It might be. It looks like a Dragon Ball Z character.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna break open a shackle seal. We're gonna free the shackle.
Okay, break the shackles. How many of those jokes can we make, do you think?
Lots. We've still got heaps. All right. So where's the board? I want to grab the board. Does it come with a board?
Maybe you don't get a board. Maybe
I do. Okay, here it is.
you do.
He's a pain conduit. Oh, he's all purple and everything.
Oh god, that's like
all
the minis I paint are all purple. I feel like this is purple theme. Yeah, it's our theme. Yeah, we're the purple people.
All right, card hand limit. All right, 7. Which
7?
Sorry, 10. Wow, that's really
god.
Okay, I need to make sure that the words are matching what I'm thinking and seeing.
Yeah.
So 10 card limit, which is lower than the Drifter and lower than the Snowflake. So that's already interesting. It's not catastrophic. It's not like trap. So
it's trap level. It's not, and it's also not 7.
No, it's also not 7. It's not 8. It's not that. All right. So its complexity is 3. So that's like 3 times the complexity I've been dealing with all campaign, which is exciting.
Complexity 3.
Yeah. Drifter's 1 and Snowflake's 1.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. This is like I've gone 3 levels higher.
300% harder than any of the other Frosthaven characters you've played.
That's right.
All right.
Class notes. Does other characters have a little active thing up the top here? This little tab?
Yeah, that's so the way that you're supposed to play the game, Detty, is that's your board.
Yeah.
And see on the left and the right, you've got discard and lost.
Yeah. Oh,
And then
active cards.
active-
Got you. I thought it might have been an active tab for some ability thing that this character's running
Just
around
needed to
with.
get in there quickly before we got like rules clarification. So.
Rules clarification.
Yeah. And you'll notice at the bottom it says items.
It does. It does, actually. Well, have you unlocked this already? You said you weren't looking ahead.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
All right. Unlike other classes, you can benefit from suffering damage. I'm good at that. Like, without this character. Right? Drifter. It already sounds like the Drifter, except the Drifter wasn't good at suffering damage. So you can benefit from suffering damage and negative conditions. You're good at that. Using them in conjunction with your own abilities. Some allow you to ignore your negative conditions, including attackers adding +1 when you are poisoned. Okay. Or pass them to your enemies. You also have powerful healing abilities to keep you from exhausting. Ooh.
It sounds like self-healing. Don't worry, it's not support, Detty. You can use them.
I only ever had like support others with my snowflake, really. So now I can heal myself instead of not healing anyone.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yep, that's it. Now, when you go in and take too much damage and overextend, you can deal with yourself.
Yeah. Many of your abilities cause enemies to directly just suffer damage, which is awesome. Okay. Bypassing shield and retaliate. Abilities without an attack icon are not attacks and can be performed even when you have disarm. That's all it says.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Or I'm straight away. I'm thinking when it says that you like negative conditions, I'm like, oh, pity we don't have a Geminate to throw heaps of negative conditions.
We always look back at our synergies from the past.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so it's got 20 health.
What's your HP?
HP at level 1 is 8, so that's Drifter. That's Drifter health right there, which makes me think it's tanky.
Well, what's it going up by?
Well, it's max. Your max at the moment is what, 24 at 8, level 8? So you're really tanky. This is Snowflake and Drifter health, which is
that's medium.
Medium. So 20 health is max.
Yeah, so it's going up by 1 then 2, 1 then 2, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, 1 then 2, 1 then 2, yep.
Yep.
Everything's purple, so that's I made the right choice. Everything's purple, like the cards, the board, everything's purple.
Yeah,
okay,
cool.
So that's what that kind of looks like.
There must be a theme. I don't know. Have we just unlocked all the purple classes? Because I was saying to
you've only been
Detty
painting them purple.
Well, that's because they're purple on the picture. Like the Geminate is like a Maroni purple. The Blink Blade is purple. I think I chose to paint the crab purple. So that was my choice. But this guy's purple. It's just like
Media could have been purple because of that really hot, like blue magma kind of thing, like super hot. It was white. No,
yeah, maybe.
That image is really cool.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah.
So he is an Aether. Okay. Which that's really quite purple. Complexity 3, elemental affinities. We've got fire and wind. So media being gone, I've lost that out. Wind, I've lost myself.
So nothing. No synergies.
Okay, great.
Good.
That's awesome. What does Blink Blade do? Is it light?
I have no idea.
Okay. Oh, he doesn't have any. I think that's what he said.
Yeah, he might not have any, like the Drifter.
Okay, awesome. We are not melee at all. We are ranged. We are really ranged. Ranged is quite high, which is interesting.
Yeah, okay.
We are quite mobile. We're supporty. We're defense, which are all equal. And we're really good with control, which is really cool.
Okay.
Very exciting. Okay, so let's just go into some of these cards. That's my box empty. Gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna look at these level 1 cards, and then I probably won't go into the level 2 one. Oh no, I may go into my level 2 options, and maybe I can get some interesting feedback over what to pick. Because what we're gonna probably want to do with this is I'm probably not gonna pick the level 2 and level 3 card, and I'm gonna just do what you suggested and play it.
I'll do one scenario like at level. What are you starting at 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like with level 3 health, but not pick your 2 and 3 cards.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the cards are like a really nice purpley color. All right, yeah. So the very first card I'm looking at right now is called Shared Affliction. It's got a 61 initiative. Whenever you perform an attack, add all negative conditions you have except Brittle, Bane, and Stun to the attack. 2 XP, persistent lost. So that's my prep card if I'm expecting a crap load of conditions from the scenario. So whenever I perform an attack, I can add all negative conditions I have on me to my attacks, which is actually fairly cool. Great
That's
for,
cool.
I guess, poison, against those Abel scouts and things like that are going to put poisons and wounds and all that. It's just like, here, everybody gets poisons. Everybody gets this and that. And bigger persistence, interesting. That it's lasting for the whole game.
Yeah, so it's like a buff. Anytime you have a condition, you give it out. Yeah.
Whenever I attack.
Yep.
I think it should work on Bane. I would go and get Bane all the time.
All right, so we've seen half of one of the cards, and already we are requesting that they are changed. Yeah, cool. Yeah,
that's what we do.
Yeah,
3 movement bottom. Remove 1 negative condition you have to give 1 adjacent enemy the same condition. That's already sick. That already feels very different. So he's obviously playing with conditions, and that's his shtick, is around conditions, which now we're going to be forever playing against Algok's archers, who don't do any conditions.
Yeah.
61 initiative though. It's a wind generator.
Yeah, slow boy.
Yeah, 3 movement's pretty good though. Okay, cool. So that looks like a potentially all prep kind of card situation. Okay, I just got a text saying that Paul from Ideal Air is on the way. I don't know what that means though. All right,
that's not ideal.
Line of transference. This is a 25. It's a 2 attack, range 3. Okay. With wind, it becomes a +2 and XP. Okay, so it's attack 4. Remove 1 negative condition you have to give the target the same condition. Okay, that's cool. Nice and clean with a bonus, provided I have a condition. I better have cards in here that give me conditions. Move 4 on a 25. That's pretty good.
Oh, wait, hang on. Just, I had a thought. Aren't there those potions that we were looking at that give yourself... Remember? They give yourself poison and something, and we're like, oh, I wonder how these work.
Oh, I can't transfer Bane. I can't transfer Bane.
No, not Bane, but like I think there's
poison,
one
you're right.
gives you poison, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah. No, you're right. That sounds sick. Transferred injury. It's a 1 heal, 74 initiative, 1 heal, 3 range. If I hit fire and wind, it adds 1 heal for each element, XP on the wind, and then I get to do an attack where X is the amount healed with the heal ability. So it's looking like a 3 at most.
It 2 elements, yeah. That's rough. Like at minimum, that's like an attack 1 range 3, right?
Yeah, and it's a poison heal, wound heal kind of thing. Like, it's good for removing that because it's so low, and therefore the attack's going to be quite low. We got a wound self on the bottom though, so heal 3 within range 3, and then I get to wound myself as a result. So that's one way of getting the conditions on me.
There you go. Yeah.
So remove 1 negative condition you have to give the target the same condition, and whenever you perform an attack, add all negative. So one of them is adding, it's just saying I'm wounded, now you are all wounded, and the other one's saying I will remove my wound and give it to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, already with that line of transference and the transferred injury, you could play them together and go pretty early, right? So you go 25, heal somebody or yourself, give yourself wound, and then transfer the wound straight over to someone else, so you don't actually tick.
Yes. We got initiative 78. I'm just saying the numbers so that you can find the card easier. The agony of others. So this is a range 2 attack 3. So they're quite rangy, I gotta say.
Range 3 is good.
Range 3 is really like good. Yeah. With fire, we add +1 for each negative condition I have. Oh god, I want to collect them all.
I see.
Yeah, and on the next 3 sources of damage you suffer, while an enemy is within range 3, 1 enemy within range 3 suffers an equal amount. Ooh. Yeah, okay. That's really good.
So this is one of those ones you want to chuck that on and go get booked with brittle and poison.
Yeah, that could be nuts. Provided I've got the health to deal with it. I better have a way of topping myself up. Right? Pardon?
You take 20 damage, you burn a card. It's all right. Burn 1 card, you do 20 damage. So.
That's true. But yeah, that's really cool. It's not negating it at all. It's just saying, hey, you take this as well. And it's pure damage.
It's kind of like a Thorns, right? Like it's like Retaliate, but it's the amount is equal to the amount of damage you take.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Unending Torment, 29 initiative. So this is a heal 5 self, and then I get to immobilize myself and create some fire and get 1 XP. So that's my fat heal. Or hang on, down the bottom, I can also heal myself and muddle myself instead and create wind and 1 XP. So I have a feeling my health is going to yo-yo a lot. And this card is going to get played a lot because it's a guaranteed element generation and it's putting a condition onto me, which I don't mind, is what I'm getting out of that. Okay. Blood Ritual. This is a 56. So this is an attack 4 within range 3. I will do 2 damage to myself. So attack 4 range 3 is already quite nice for a level 1 card. Like really nice. And then whenever an ally within 3 range gains a negative condition, you may gain that condition instead, even if you already have it.
Oh, that's spicy.
Yeah. It's also a prep card, or persistent card. Probably one that doesn't need to be played early, but one that could be, depending if we've entered a last room and there's just guys in there that are going to be very poisony or something like that.
Yeah, that's really interesting because that top is obviously quite good, right? Like an attack 4 range 3 is big damn. And yeah, having that prep on, yeah, I don't think we're going to see the bottom of that card very often.
Oh, I was about to say, well, and I'm like, no, you're right.
Yeah, right. We know Detty, like max DPS all the time, right?
I don't see that bottom. All right, we've got Scarred Effigy. So we got a pet. Cool, and he looks really buff. Holy crap. Summon Flesh Fiend. Lol. So he's got 7 health. He moves at 2. He attacks at 1. He's got no range. When he attacks, he ignores retaliate. It's built into the character. How cool is that?
Nice.
That's what you need, Mark. Whenever this summon would suffer damage, you may suffer that damage instead. Whoa.
Whoa. That's cool.
It is. It's a shame he's only hitting for 1, but it does add some flexibility because it's a may suffer the damage instead. Yep. So that's a pet that's consistently going to be up that ignores retaliate. Yeah, okay.
The other thing as well you could look at is the bottom of Blood Ritual, which was whenever an ally gets a negative condition, he's an ally, right?
True.
So you could have him out trying to
I'm farming conditions from him.
Yeah.
Initiative 19 is quite nice. It looks like my fastest card so far, and it's a move to retaliate too, which is actually pretty good as well. Wow, this seems really flexible. Like, it doesn't fit a kind of... It doesn't feel like a narrow play style as narrow as some of the others. It feels like something that can be altered on the go almost. I'm looking at Explosive Wounds, Initiative 43. One of your allies within range 3 and all enemies adjacent to that ally suffer 2 damage. Oh, that sounds really cool. Like it's... and if I fire, it's an extra damage, 3 damage. That could be a 3 damage AoE that just needs one of you guys just to suck it up.
Like, you mean when there's a big crab standing in the middle of all the enemies?
Oh, dude,
and then you're like, hey. Yeah, there we go.
2 movement, remove all negative conditions from an adjacent ally to gain all the conditions removed. There you go. That's really handy because I got Phil. And Phil's really good at getting negative conditions.
It's also a good one for, I mean, it's not ideal because you get, like removing stun. Like, you just kind of plan around someone going late so that they don't tick it. And then you can move in, take the stun off them. And then you might have things that allow you to remove negative conditions of yourself. So,
yeah, and transfer it or something. And then the bottom is move all negative conditions from an adjacent ally to gain all the conditions removed. Okay, there's a few different one of those in a way. Yeah, okay. It's just depending on whether or not I'm bringing certain cards. Cleansing Fire is a 64. I'm seeing not a lot of fast cards here. I'm seeing a lot of mid-range cards. Cleansing Fire, 64. Attack 1, range 3, wound. All allies and enemies adjacent to the target suffer 1 damage. Oh, I've got some Geminate potential here. Just a little tiny bit. It's really kind of exciting. Just to be like, how do you feel about being hurt and wounded? Are you okay with this? The bottom of it is heal 1 self, move 2, heal 2 self.
There you go.
I was going to say I like the mixture of the heals, but gets me out of a pinch if I've got a brittle or a poison. So they've split the heal up instead of the move up.
Yeah. I think that's it, right? Because you're going to collect status effects, and one of the ones that's going to ruin your day is poison. So if you have
Probably.
a poison, this is a good one to be like, oh, cool, I'm going to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, okay.
And then the last level 1 card, Swift Vengeance, is Curse, targeting X at range 3, initiative 21, where X is the number of negative conditions you have. That's really good.
Okay, now we're playing with curses. Yes,
Yeah.
here we go.
Because we
All
didn't
right.
have a Mark was our cursor at the time.
Yeah,
He's been
we
it.
haven't really had anyone that's kind of been stacking them in the deck a lot. So yeah, this is where we're going to have to just load you up with negative conditions and then just fire that out. Get 3 or 4 curses.
Yeah. 1
Yeah.
XP for that. Love it. And then 21, move 1. With wind, it becomes a move 3 and loot 1. That is
Oh, there you
coming with
go.
me every time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's an interesting one. The Swift Vengeance, the top of that is if you load yourself up with 3 or 4 negative conditions, it's kind of a good target for an early stampot, like level 1 stampot. Like get a level 1 card back, and you throw 3 or 4 curses out, and then next turn throw 3 or 4 curses out. Kind of really, it's a start of the kind of encounter. Kind of set us up to mitigate heaps of damage.
just fill the deck with as much as we can. All right, we've got the 3 X's. 90 initiative. Pretty quick. Delayed Malady. This action may be performed while you have stun. We haven't seen too many stuns. This is lightning eels, really. Remove all negative conditions you have. Play a card from your hand and perform its top action either before or after you perform the bottom action of your other card you played this round. Okay. So this is like, I'm stunned. I can play cards instead of, well, I might just long rest or play whatever. This is something that allows me to still have an action. Well, 2 actions, really. It kind of negates stun completely.
It does, yeah. It just costs you a card. Yeah.
And then the bottom is another prep persistent. During this and the next 4 rounds, you have unaffected. You are unaffected by negative conditions you have, and they cannot be removed.
Oh, that's spicy. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm seeing how this works.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so that's basically you can collect a whole bunch of negative conditions and they don't affect you, right?
Right. Yeah. I
For
get
that
that.
many rounds.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you just eat all those, and then you've got these
Spend more time
cards
cursing
like
everyone, trans transferring. Not necessarily transferring. There's the other card that's like, for every negative condition you have, increase this, or for those kind of things, and really you get to have a swing 3 or 4 rounds without copying the negativity from those conditions.
well, yeah, and the top of Shared Affliction, the first one that you read, right?
Yeah.
That persistent. Whenever you perform an attack, add all negative conditions you've got, except for those. Sack them up,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
you get 3 or 4 turns of just spitting out heaps of conditions on everything.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about it, and then you can remove them.
Yeah.
The
That.
other thing with delayed malady is that we're talking about with that grab a condition off somebody else one, like you can go and grab a stun off someone. Not that we see a lot of stuns, but in that niche case that we do, you can go in, grab it, and then next turn still have a turn.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
yeah, it's kind of a cool way of doing that.
Yeah. What conditions, right? Unstable effigy, which is an 18. Summon flesh bomb, so it's birds. Summon flesh bomb. 3 health, movement 3, 2 attack. On death, it will do 2 damage to all enemies within 2 hexes. Got you. 2 XP. It's a loss. On death, it creates fire as well. Interesting. Okay. Maybe for swarms, I don't know. And then we got to move 4 down the bottom, immobilizing everything, all adjacent enemies and self. We're all staying here, creating some wind. The top is situational, like super doesn't feel the best. But the fact that I've got pets that have died and then they've been like, it's almost like while this is up, it's doing 2 damage around, and when it's dead, it's then exploding for pretty big AoE damage. It's got
Yeah,
the
well, that
potential to feel a 6, 8, maybe even 10 damage over its lifespan for one loss. So that's actually probably really good.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, and that range targeting all within 2 hexes is helps out a lot, right?
Mm.
Like,
Especially it's pure, right?
yeah.
Pleasure in pain. 3 heal, targeting 1 adjacent ally and self. That's cool. That's why would I bring that? 1 XP. Oh, that's why. um, the bottom is a 40. It's a 2 movement, poisoning 1 ally within range 4 and self, and all enemies within range 3 suffer 1 damage. Okay, that's pretty cool. Range 3 is pretty good. Someone else has a poison. I have to go back through the earlier cards, but if I poison someone, that's something I can deal with later. I can remove that. I'll probably through the heal move heal. And then the one on myself that just loads me up with a really cool status. What's very interesting about this so far, and that's all the level 1 and X cards. What is interesting about this so far is it's completely changed my mindset over the itemization of equipping your character with certain items. It's like, what pots am I bringing? I'm not bringing the strengthened one. I'm not bringing the the +1, the power pot. It's going to be like a stam and then affliction based ones. And same thing with the armor and all of that. It has opened my mind to very interesting things that I can equip. Right. Last thing I wanted to go through just quickly is what are my 2 perks
Yeah,
and all
that's
of that.
right.
So perks that's standing out to me, I get to ignore scenario effects, which is nice. I haven't had a character that got to do that. Oh, did the Drifter? Maybe the Drifter did. Yeah, I think the Drifter did. So ignore scenario effects, and I get to add 2+1 cards, which is always an extra nice little juicy bit. Each round in which you long rest, you may ignore all negative conditions you have. If you do, they cannot be removed that round. Oh, okay. So I can ignore the damage from a wound, but I can't have it removed that round, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, yep.
Whenever you become exhausted, first perform Curse All within range 3. That's a nice little last bit.
Wow.
Death right at the end. Useful all the way to the end, right? That could come in clutch for when Gaz is 1v1ing like a boss on 3 health. And then the double perker, increase your maximum hit point value by 5.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's huge. That's
Well, I mean, you could get that. You could get that as soon as you start.
yeah.
Like you get extra.
I probably will. Like
5 HP is good. Yeah, that's massive.
And then there's actually we got a couple of ones in there that's like replace 3 +1 cards with 3 +1 and curse cards. So there's a lot of cursing potential in the deck.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
In the
cool.
model,
So
in the
yeah,
AMD.
it seems like we've only seen level 1 and X cards and the perks, but it seems like I don't want to use the word support because then you will rally against all the cards and just do move to attack to, right?
Yeah.
But it's supporting in a different way, right? Like through curses, through debuffing enemies. There's a little bit of heal allies in there and kind of preventing some conditions from people, but it's not the play style. So it's kind of it's those little things that you don't pick up with the support because it's like when they pull a curse, yeah, you can go, oh, that was mine. But things having poison, something having poison and there's that ticking for 3 or 4 or 5 damage from multiple attacks. You don't see that on the meters, right? But you kind of know that it's there.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think
it's cool.
that's an important thing to remember. When we came to poisoning, we only really had Mark's Bone Shaper when he brought that card for the defense proc, right? Poison is such a amazing condition when we have it on certain creatures. And we don't have a lot of reliable ways of poisoning things.
Yeah.
And we haven't in the past. We've had, a lot of things with movement and all that kind of stuff. Like this is amazing because I'm not going to be punting things. I have no push. I'm not going to be punting things out of
They're going to stay in place. Hey, the monster's here, and by the end of the turn, it's still going to be here.
Yeah,
I can plan my turn around that.
Yeah, Phil's going to love that. You're going to love that. Like,
yeah.
any person that suffers from it is Mark.
The other, yeah, well, actually, that is a good point. It's like all of Mark's, like,
Enablers.
well, yeah, we'll probably talk about this a bit more on the cast once we jump into it. But like, his push and pull's gone. Everyone fighting for real estate is basically gone. It's like, all right, go nuts, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Uh, the other thing I was going to say though was with the poison is because you can stack. I mean, wound you probably don't want to hold on for too long because that's just going to eat you away. But you can sit there with poison for ages, and it doesn't really matter because you're ranged.
Yeah.
Like poison sucks when you're getting like belted, but being range 3, you can be. We're basically going to have me and Phil in the front line. So you getting targeted should be reasonably uncommon.
Mm.
So you can kind of afford to sit there with a poison for a bit and kind of let you know the uh the buff the top of shared affliction, which is basically just whenever you've got a negative effect, anything you attack gets it. You can basically just give everything poison at range. So
It also means that I have the option to tank, not as effectively as you, but there is ways that I can also go, look, where this door's open or these mobs are coming this way. I can find a way to kind of hold that myself. With the Shield to Retaliate 2 card that I've got a pet that can be at the front line with you and Phil that I can then say, look, it's going to hit the pet instead of you because, you need a round or two of just respite, respite or something like that. And that damage that goes to my pet either goes to the pet or goes to me. So there are ways of me sharing it, but safely and more controlled from a more backline position, which I think is really, really handy to have. I'm incredibly excited. It's not something I wasn't worried it was going to be completely, I don't know, a playstyle I didn't like. The playstyle seems relatively straightforward. It just seems like it's a lot more situational about planning when to receive these conditions, when to load myself up from these conditions, and all of that, which I think is a really cool way to add the complexity, to add to the meat to each turn, essentially.
yeah, like it's interesting because it doesn't have a mechanic with it. Like, like it doesn't have the tides or it doesn't have
Fast, slow.
the fast, slow, yeah, things like that, right? So it's not this or the shifting again. We've talked about that with the Geminate. So it's not a reliance on a mechanic for the class to work, but what you've got is you've got these, I guess, synergies to maximize your damage. Because it looks like you can play most of your cards and they just function.
Correct.
Right? None of them are like you have to be poisoned in order to do this attack.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's a gate that you have to get past. But it's like, well, if you are, it's going to do more, right? If you can kind of find ways to balance your negative conditions, right, and get them and then share them out, like that's where that's going to kind of be the effectiveness.
Yes.
So that'll be that seems really cool because it's like, oh, how well can I work out this little puzzle to kind of be more effective. So yeah, no, I'm really keen to see the next level cards. I'm
gonna go through them now.
Yeah, okay, sweet.
So
I just want to see, even though you're gonna choose them, I want to see kind of where it goes, right? Because you get a little bit from 2 and 3 to kind of know like which direction is it going in.
So the first level 2 card I got is Reversal of Fate. So 23. It's a heal 5 within range 4 Bless. Okay, so a nice little boon there. And then an attack 5, range 4 Curse.
Whoa.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
Well, on a standard kind of loss card that will have that kind of power spike, it may be a heal 6, range 4 loss, right? Without a bless. And if there's a bless in there, that's already seems kind of good. As a shit, well, I can burn this card to keep this person up and heal them a fair bit. The fact that there's a 5 damage attached to it, range 4 with a curse, is nuts. Nice little burst at the end, and that's just the top. On the next damage you suffer from an attack, the attacker suffers an equal amount of damage. That's also really cool.
Well, I mean, this is the type of lost card that you want to take because it has, like, it's not niche, but you wait for your right time to play it, right?
Yeah.
A big heal and a bless, a big hit and a curse, but the bottom isn't useless. Like, it's probably the bottom is also super niche, so it's not completely useless, but it's not one of those ones where you go, oh, the top is a burn, which I'm not going to play, and the bottom I never will play. So it's almost like one that you have up your sleeve, or maybe it's the you use it for a move too or something.
The cool thing about the bottom though is I can combine that with the pet the 7 health pet. wait for him to cover a massive hit, right? And if it's not enough to kill him, transfers it to me. This card comes out. This card's not a lost card if I play the bottom.
I don't know if that works because it says the next time on the next attack damage you suffer from an attack.
Yeah, okay.
The attacker suffers equal, and
okay, yeah, okay. When the pet
this summon would suffer damage.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Shadow my dreams.
But no. Oh, and it is also a tax. You can't.
I can't walk over mask traps.
Yeah, that's it. You can't be like, do you want to just check a? But the attacker would be then Mark.
So I can kill Mark. All right, number 2 of 2, Infection Purge. You and 2 enemies within range 3 suffer damage 1 plus X, where X is the number of conditions you have. Me and 2 enemies.
You and 2 enemies within range 3 suffer 1 plus X.
Yeah, okay. I have 3 conditions. We all suffer 4 damage.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the negative conditions that you can kind of stack that don't really impact. Like poison's one of them, right? Like poison's not a big deal because if you're not getting hit, poison does nothing.
No, well, muddle's another one I don't care about.
Yeah, true. Muddle is. Yeah, it's a shame that it just goes away as well, right? Like, but you did have that card that you could muddle yourself. I guess even immobilize as well. If you're in the right place, you probably don't really care.
That's true. And then I was just reading the character notes again. Abilities without an attack icon are not attacks. Yeah, so this is not an attack, meaning that I could use it if I was disarmed as well.
Yeah.
So if there's a way that I can, I don't know, there's got to be a card that'll come up that'll just be like, absolutely fuck yourself. Have a disarm, have it immobilize, have a muddle, have a, all of that. And it's like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, that's right. It's good for me. So at the bottom of it, that also creates fire and it gives me an XP. So I'm just weighing that up now with the other one. So far,
even at minimum, like even with no negative conditions, it's still doing 1 damage, pure damage to 2 targets.
Yes.
Right. And I mean, it seems pretty easy for you to be able to give yourself the bottom of
the basics.
Unending Torment gives yourself heal 5 self and muddle.
Yeah.
Right. So at minimum, you can give yourself that without really affecting it, and you can do 2 damage to 2 targets. I mean, 2 pure damage to 2 targets at range 3
is pretty good.
Yeah, really good. Totally. Like when we got those high shield targets, you just go, all right, cool, you can have some damage.
Being not an attack, because I was looking at the other one that we had earlier, Pleasure and Pain, I think, is the move 2, poison, 1 ally within range 4 and self. That's giving poison to myself, but I'd have to transfer then the poison onto everything. But then even then, that bottom is just suffering damage. Poison doesn't work when they're just suffering raw damage.
That's true, yeah.
So number 3, level 3. So those 2 already are quite spicy.
What about the bottom of Purge, Infection Purge?
Oh, sorry. Whenever an ally within range 3 would suffer damage, you may suffer that instead. Okay. That's probably really good for Phil. The damage you suffer is always just lots of little damage because of your shields and everything like that.
Yeah, there's an interesting, and I mean, this ends up with a lot of persistent cards out there.
I just realized it was a persistent, like an all-game persistent as well.
Yeah. And there's also the Agony of Others, the persistent on that one, which is the next 3 sources of damage you suffer while an enemy.
Oh, yeah.
So someone gets hit within range 3, you take the damage, and then you put it onto an enemy within range 3. Like, there's some weird kind of...
The only thing that worries me about that is that's already potentially a couple of different persistence, and I've got a 10-card limit. That's the part that's going to mess with me.
Yeah. And the problem as well with the Agony of Others bottom is that it's on the next. It's not choice. If it was like, if you could pick those big hits to do.
Yes.
But it is an interesting one when we get to a boss, for example, right? And you want to do a boss, and we know there's some big hits coming out. That could be a play to go, you know what? I'm going to redirect the next 3 hits to anybody onto the boss. And that's pure damage as well. So, it's there could be some interesting kind of niche situations come up with that.
Burned, we got the level 3 cards now. Burned at both ends, suffer up to 4 damage to cause an enemy within range 3 to suffer an equal amount of damage. So this is pure damage. I take 4, he takes 4. That's pretty cool. I like how it also says suffer an equal amount instead of 4. Is there a way that's
up to? because you get to pick.
Yeah, okay. And then with fire it becomes 6. Oh, the enemy suffers an extra 2. That's
Yeah,
even better.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can pick, right? Like if they've only got 3 health, you don't have
True.
to take 4 damage.
That's true. Suffer up to,
Wow,
up to, up to. Yeah. That's very
just
controllable.
take 4 damage.
Yeah, like you said, it's just guaranteed. Okay, cool. I'll just kill that. It's on 2 health. I'll just take 2.
And hang on, again, I'm just looking at this agony of others. On the next 3 sources of damage you suffer while an enemy is in range 3, one enemy. Okay, so if you had that
Oh
on and
no.
you did the burn and you had fire, you can make them take 10 pure damage, 6 from the card, and then 4 from the damage you take, but redirected to range 3.
Yeah.
You'd be like, does anything want to take 10 pure damage like just now?
Do you want insta bane?
Yeah, and that's a bottom and a top, so you don't even have to pre-plan that. You could do that in a turn.
At the bottom of it is a move 3. I haven't actually looked at a lot of them. In fact, a lot of these cards I've just noticed don't have movement on the bottom. The earlier ones did in the 1 range, but some of these new ones don't have. In fact, level 2s, neither of them have movement. So move 3, disarm 1 adjacent enemy and self. There's my disarm. There you go. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then make fire. So that's actually really good. That's an insane card.
Yeah. That's yep.
As a whole, that is nuts. Reprisal, 70 initiative. Heal 2 self, retaliate 3. If I eat wind, it becomes retaliate 4. Wow. Is that like that plus the fire shield potion?
Retaliate 6. Yeah, come at me, bro.
Yeah, okay. It's not range though, but that's all right. And whenever you suffer damage this round, one enemy within range 2 will suffer 2 damage. Okay.
So I'm seeing, like, again, this is why I was curious to see the level 2 and 3, because you get to start seeing, there's usually 2 different paths, right, that the characters go. And I think what I'm seeing here is the melee versus ranged, essentially. There's like, seems to be like a tanky-ish melee, retaliate, deal heaps of damage back, like yo-yo your life heaps. And there also seems to be like a more not safer, but probably range, stack up your negative effects and don't really worry about having them, and then just dish out heaps of curses, heaps of damage and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I gonna need some help out there as to which ones of these I should take if there's a certain playstyle that I'm thinking just the ranged playstyle. Just with our current composition, but I have to remember that you are potentially around the corner of no longer being a crab.
No, but I'll be a banner spear, so.
Well, that's assuming that you take the banner spear. You may pick Drifter, which is also melee, I guess, unless you go range Drifter. See, that's what I mean. Then it changes the whole team dynamic.
Range Drifter, right? Like, I was just complaining. Me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, that's really cool. Really, really, really cool. Very much excited. Masteries. Cause other figures to suffer a total of at least 40 damage in 1 round.
Hang on, read that again.
Cause other figures, maybe you, me, or well, not me, but everything, to suffer a total of at least 40 damage in 1 round.
Okay, so you've got to cause 40 damage across the board. Right? Like players, summons, enemies, everything like that. Yeah, okay.
That mastery is literally saying, pad your meters, you have to.
Yeah.
It's 40 in 1 round.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I need a snow imp one. I need one where there's just swarms of crap that can just all eat it. Start a turn with wound, brittle, bane. Oh, God. Poison, immobilize, disarm, stun, and muddle.
Wow. Okay.
You know what's gonna really feel? How many is that? That's 8. What's gonna feel terrible if I have 7? I mean, obviously it works with my character, so it's not like catastrophic. If it was anyone else, that would be rough. But
so the other, I was just thinking about the different potions we got, because I know there was the potion that I think just gives you poison, maybe wound. I'm not sure what that first one we unlocked was. The unstable concoction. But the other one we have is that hammer potion, which just deal 10 damage to yourself, right? Which is the one we keep joking about.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, looking at agony of others, that's
Isn't there a Bane potion?
what that gives yourself Bane.
I thought there was a Bane potion. There was another, like, because there's a poison self one and wound self and all that kind of stuff. I thought there was a Bane one and it was kind of like, what's going on? Are these just terrible potions? They may not be. Wouldn't surprise me if there is one. If so, we need to find it because, yeah.
Yeah,
I can just see the first scenario we go in, I've got these negative things, 2 damage, 10 damage to yourself and all that. I just go in and insta-exhaust. Because I just...
Well, at least you get that thing, at least you curse everything when you die.
That's true.
It's one of the things I was thinking about in the last scenario. I mean, we couldn't because we all had to make it out, but we don't really exhaust that often. Like, I feel like in Gloomhaven, it used to be a little bit more of like it was an attrition thing, and you'd get, and then someone would exhaust by the end, or 2 people would, and then you'd have 2 people left to finish the scenario, right? We've had a couple that have come down to the wire, but I feel like they're either like down to the wire or just an absolute blitz. It's very rare for someone to exhaust during, and I wonder if that's how we're playing conservatively. But yeah, this class is an interesting one because it kind of needs to live on the edge a little bit. Like you can put yourselves into positions where you could, through bad RNG, just get really wrecked.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it goes.
No, like super excited. So yeah, if you have any advice for me, leave them in the comments or just contact me regarding, maybe some card options and all that kind of stuff. I'm all ears for all of that. And yeah, we will take the pain conduit into the next scenario, which I think is going to be a side one anyway, as we prepare for Mark's return.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Well, thanks for joining us on a very special unboxing. It was really fun. It was really cool to be able to go through it to this extent with you guys. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, sweet.
All right.
All right, cool. See ya.
Bye-bye.